All right, picture this. You've just polished off a fantastic Thanksgiving meal, maybe even snuck in a second slice of pie. And you're ready for some football, but you don't just want the score. You want the full breakdown of how the Packers played against the Dolphins on Thanksgiving, right? Well, you've come to the right place. We've got a whole stack of articles and game highlights here from Packers.com. And we're going to unpack all the interesting bits for you, key takeaways, insightful observations, and what it all means for the Packers as we look ahead.
It's more than just a score update. It's like your shortcut to becoming a Packers expert.
Exactly. So let's dive right in. First things first. Packers won. They defeated the Dolphins 30-17. And this wasn't just any game. This was a Thanksgiving showdown right at Lambeau Field.
Can you imagine that energy in the stadium, the roar of the crowd after every big play?
Oh, it must have been electric. And speaking of electric, one thing that really jumps out from these articles is how the Packers offense seems to have found its rhythm since the bye week.
Yeah, it's like they flipped a switch. If you remember, they were struggling a bit earlier in the season. But now they're moving the ball effectively, controlling the clock, and putting up points. And that kind of consistency on offense, that's crucial, especially if they're aiming for a playoff run.
That makes a lot of sense. And a big part of that offensive surge seems to be Jordan Love. Packers.com's rapid reaction article even states that Love is playing his best ball right now.
Yeah.
That's got to be exciting for Packers fans.
It is exciting, but I wouldn't say it's a sudden burst of brilliance or anything. Looking back, we've actually been seeing gradual improvement from him over the past few weeks. His decision-making under pressure has gotten noticeably better. You know, in the highlights, you can see he's not forcing throws. He's taking what the defense gives him, which is helping to extend drives.
It's not just confidence, it's actual improvement in his game.
Exactly. And that brings up a really interesting question. What does this mean for the Packers quarterback situation long term?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? But before we get too deep into that, let's give a shout out to a couple of players who really stood out in this Thanksgiving victory.
Absolutely. The game notes highlight some impressive performances, and one that jumps out is Quay Walker on defense.
Yeah, you know, a play is big when it gets specifically mentioned in the game notes. So what did he do?
Well, it seems Walker came up with this incredible defensive stand, totally shifted the energy of the game. The Dolphins were driving, and it looked like they might score. But Walker, he made this huge play that stopped them in their tracks. You could almost feel the momentum shift in the stadium.
Wow, I can just imagine that. You're watching the game, the tension is building, and then, bam, Walker comes up with this game-changing play.
Precisely. And then on the other side of the ball, we had Robert Rochelle. He also played a key role in the Packers' victory. One article even called him key to the game.
Key to the game. That's high praise. So it seems like both Walker and Rochelle are really exceeding expectations here. Are they filling gaps? Were they expected to be such significant contributors this season?
That's a great question, and it's something worth exploring further. Are they stepping up because of injuries? Are they simply exceeding expectations? Or are they filling roles they were always meant to play?
And this leads us to another theme that comes up a lot in these articles. The emphasis on this being a total team win. It's not just about one or two star players. It's about everyone contributing.
Yes. One quote that really stood out to me said, total team win caps an important week. And it really highlights that importance of teamwork and cohesiveness, you know, especially heading into their next game against the Detroit Lions.
A divisional matchup like that always brings a different level of intensity.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating here is how this win, it showcases the Packers' depth. We saw it with Walker and Rochelle, but it seems like no matter who steps onto the field, they're ready to perform.
That's the sign of a well-coached team. And speaking of coaching,
Matt LaFleur, he deserves a lot of credit, you know, for how he's managed this team, especially with those early season challenges.
Yeah, it feels like he's really fostered this, sense of belief within the team. You know, you can see it in how they play. They believe in themselves, they believe in each other, and they believe in their coach.
That's a really good observation. And that belief, it seems to be translating into wins, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. They're playing with this newfound confidence and purpose. It's like all the pieces are finally clicking into place.
Precisely. And this Thanksgiving win, it's more than just a victory. It's a statement, you know, about their potential moving forward.
So given their recent performances, what's your take on their chances in these coming weeks, especially against, you know, tough opponents like the Lions?
Well, they certainly have the momentum, the talent, and the coaching, to compete with anyone in the league. However, the key is going to be maintaining this level of play. Can they sustain this offensive consistency? Will Jordan Love continue to make those smart decisions under pressure?
Those are the big questions, aren't they?
They are. And if we consider the Lions specifically, remember, they're hungry for a win. And will be looking to make a statement against their division rivals.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a battle for sure. But after seeing how the Packers performed against the Dolphins, I'm feeling optimistic, I got to say. What about you? Do you see them as legitimate contenders? A dark horse, maybe?
I'd say they're somewhere in between. They've shown they can beat good teams. But they also need to prove they can consistently perform at a high level.
I think that's a fair assessment. Now, going back to this idea of a total team win, one of the articles mentions a specific play that really exemplifies this.
Oh, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Well, it doesn't involve a touchdown or a turnover, but it highlights the importance of every player on the field. It talks about a key block by one of the offensive linemen that allowed Love to escape pressure and complete a crucial pass.
Ah, yes, those unsung heroes. We often focus on the flashy plays, the touchdowns, the interceptions. But those gritty, fundamental plays, those are just as important. Every player has a role to play. And when everyone executes their assignments, that's when you see a team truly come together.
Exactly. And that's what makes this Packers team so exciting to watch right now. It's not just about individual talent, it's about the collective effort.
And that collective effort, combined with their recent performance, that's what makes their upcoming game against the Lions so intriguing. It's a chance for them to prove they're not just a team that can win, but a team that can contend.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive into the Packers' Thanksgiving victory, let's recap what we've covered. We started with that final score, a convincing win over the Dolphins on Thanksgiving Day at Lambeau, no less.
Right, and then we talked about how the Packers' offense really seems to have found its rhythm with Jordan Love, playing some of his best football.
And we highlighted those key contributions from players like Quay Walker and Robert Rochelle, really illustrating that this was a true total team win.
Yeah, and we also explored what this victory means for the Packers, their potential this season, especially heading into that crucial divisional matchup against the Detroit Lions.
It seems like they're peaking at just the right time, wouldn't you say?
I'd agree. They're playing with this confidence and energy that's contagious. It's going to be fascinating to see how they carry that momentum into their next game.
Now, before we let you go, we want to leave you with a final thought to ponder. Based on everything you've learned from this deep dive, what are your predictions for the Packers in these coming weeks?
Are they legitimate contenders for the NFC title? Are they a dark horse team that could surprise everyone? Or are they still a work in progress?
We want to hear your thoughts. And more importantly, we want to know why. What evidence from this Thanksgiving game or from the season as a whole supports your prediction?
This deep dive has given you the insights. Now it's your turn to analyze and predict.
So there you have it. We've broken down the Packers' Thanksgiving victory, uncovered some hidden gems, and hopefully provide you with a deeper understanding of what this win means for the team going forward.
Yeah, it's not just about the final score, right? It's about the story behind it, the individual performances, the coaching strategies, and the team's overall evolution throughout the season.
Remember, the journey is far from over. The Packers have a tough road ahead, and every game from here on out is crucial.
So keep those predictions coming, keep those conversations going, and most importantly, keep believing in the green and gold.
Until next time, happy deep diving.